This activity comes out of our well-being curriculum, lessons 1 through 4, Introduction to Well-being. Today, we're going to be tasting with mindfulness. It's one of my favorite activities because you get to eat while doing it. Here's what you're going to need. Each student should have your own food and a napkin or wipe to clean it up after. It's that simple. Whatever it is you're eating, if you want, you can eat the same thing as a class if that's being distributed, or you can eat something different. One thing I will say, let's try to make sure the food is something solid. This activity doesn't work as well with things like soup or a dip of sorts. It's better with something that has a bit of a bite or crunch to it. So what does it mean to eat with mindfulness? What does it mean to taste with mindfulness? Well, mindfulness means to focus our full attention on one thing. And so to taste with mindfulness means to focus our full attention on our food, one sense at a time. We have our sense of sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. Let's begin by just grounding ourselves. Let's try to focus our minds. If you're comfortable, please close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Let's do 2 more of those. And let's set an intention for this activity. Let's just in your mind, let's say to ourselves, I want to focus myself on what I'm eating. And I want to eat it as if I've never eaten it before, as if I was an alien eating it for the first time. Now, as you're ready, so let's slowly open our eyes and let's start the activity. So, as you can tell, I don't have any food with me right now because I didn't want to be talking at you with my mouth full. But we're going to imagine that I had a little sandwich in my hand right now. So the first step is to look at your food. Really look at it. What do you see? What colors are you seeing? Are you seeing a red tomato, green lettuce? Are you seeing the brownness of the bread? Are there seeds or nuts? Whatever it is that you have in front of you, really look at what are the ingredients that you're seeing. What are the colors? What are the textures? Is it bumpy? Is it smooth? Is it shiny? What are the ingredients? Now you might notice as you're looking at these things, it might be making you have some feelings. Maybe you're seeing something you like. Maybe you're seeing something you don't like. Maybe looking at it makes you hungry. All these thoughts and feelings, that's totally normal. When we see things, we start feeling things. But let's start clearing our mind of all these thoughts and just once again focus on just what do I see in front of me. I'm an alien looking at this for the first time. Now, we're going to try to smell our food. Let's hold it up to our face or try to waft it in and get a big breath. What do you smell? Try to smell each ingredient individually. It's not easy, but let's just try to do that. Now, let's try to smell it as a whole. Smell the whole thing at once. Does it smell different than each individual ingredient? Try to name the smells. Is it sweet, bitter, savory, sour? Is it something else? Even if you don't know the exact name, just in your head, try to put a name to what you're smelling. Now, as you're doing this, you're probably going to start having some feelings. Maybe it'll make you think of other foods. Maybe it'll bring up a memory. Do you like what you smell? Maybe you don't like it. Now, all these thoughts will come to our head, but we're going to clear them out and just focus on the actual smell itself. Now, we're going to touch our foods, but not with our hands, with our mouths. How are we going to do that? You're going to start by taking a really slow motion bite. Really feel the crunch in your teeth, how the food feels against your gums in a nice slow motion bite. Now you're not going to start chewing yet. Slow down, don't chew yet. Let it sit in your mouth and rub it around your mouth. Rub your tongue against it. Move it around your gums. Feel the different textures of your food. Now slowly start chewing it. Chew in slow motion. Really notice all the textures. How does each ingredient feel? You noticed the ingredients earlier. You smelled them earlier. Now see, can you actually feel each individual ingredient as you bite through it, as it rubs against your mouth and your gums? How does it feel against your lips, your teeth, your tongue, your gums, your cheek? Does it have a different texture as it touches different parts of your mouth? What words would you use to describe these textures? Is it rough? Is it silky? Is it sticky? Chewy? Now's the time we've all been waiting for. I know it's been a couple minutes. Let's finally take the time to taste our food. This time we're going to take a much more normal bite than before, not a slow motion one. And as you chew, really try to taste each ingredient individually. You saw the ingredients, you know what's in it. But don't eat it all at once. Try to taste and notice, hey, that's the tomato I'm tasting. Oh, that's the lettuce. Oh, that's the mustard. Right? Really notice what you're tasting. Now, try to taste it all together. Try to ignore the individual flavor and say, hey, how does this taste as one unit? Think about, does it taste different in different parts of your mouth? Does it taste different at the front of your tongue versus the back of your tongue? How would you describe these flavors? Once again, in your head, just run through, this is sweet, this is savory, this is very mushroomy, this is whatever it might be, whatever word you describe. It doesn't have to be a proper word. It just would be something that in your head makes sense to you as a word to describe the flavor. Now you'll notice once again with these flavors, you'll get some feelings. Maybe you enjoy the taste. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's really familiar and comforting. Maybe it's really satisfying to taste this finally. But once again, we're going to start clearing out those thoughts and just focus on what are the flavors in my mouth right now. Now, believe it or not, this is going to be the weirdest part of this whole activity. You're going to hear your food. Once again, we're going to go back to taking a really slow motion bite. And now chew really slowly in slow motion. And focus on what you hear. Try to hear each ingredient as you bite through it. Think about how you describe the sound. Is it crunchy? Is it chewy? Does it remind you of other sounds? It may not be a food sound at all. Maybe you'll say, hey, that crunch sounds like stepping through snow. Once again, you're going to have some feelings coming in. Is this yummy? Is it something you don't like? Does it sound yummy and appealing? Does it sound weird? Does the sound remind you of these memories? Is it weird listening to your food? All these thoughts will start coming to your head, but try to clear them out and just focus on what sounds am I hearing right now as I chew. Now there's actually one more sense, our sense of gratitude, our heart. And we want to take this moment now that we've had a chance to experience each of the other senses, that you're going to now just eat and finish off your food. But as you do, take some time to just focus on gratitude. As you take each bite, say a quiet thank you to everyone who brought this food to you. Think about who packed it for you, who made it, who bought the ingredients, who sold the ingredients, who delivered it to that store, who produced it first, who grew it. These are just the people involved. Maybe you want to think about the animal and the plant that you're actually eating and give gratitude to that as well. Give gratitude to our earth. So let's give our gratitude, have an open heart of gratitude and say thank you as you take each of the remaining bites and finish off your food. Now, let's take time for a discussion. Let's try to make sure that we've finished off our food and start wiping down our area before this so that we're not talking with our mouths full. Now, we can do this as a class discussion or a parent share. You can answer each question one at a time as I ask them. Or you can wait till I say all of them and then have the discussion all at once. But first thing I want to think about is, how do you feel after trying this mindfulness activity? Second, did the food taste any different than it usually does? Third, did you notice anything new about your food in the process? Maybe it's a food you've eaten all the time, but maybe this experience made you notice something about it. And finally, how was this experience different from eating normally? So, thank you so much for joining me today in this Tasting with Mindfulness activity. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed your snack time, and hope you have a great discussion.